We're glad to have you back. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it started the process to extradite former Petroleum Minister Alison-Madueke to face corruption charges because it is impatient with the delay of UK authorities in trying her.
Right, since leaving government, Alison-Madueke has been implicated in various corruption cases involving bribery, fraud, misuse of public funds and money laundering within and outside Nigeria. The EFCC boss says the commission can no longer wait for her trial to begin.
It was being investigated even before I assumed office. So it has taken so long. It's very unreasonable that she's not being tried there. So that we are tired of waiting. That's why I said, look, if you cannot prosecute her, bring her, we'll prosecute her. So there's no prosecution going on there. We are involved in the investigation in this country and outside this country, in America, in London. I've been there, all the places. We have worked together, we've sat down together. So, I mean, we cannot wait endlessly like this. I think 3 years and above is sufficient for you to take her to court. There is no court process going against her. There is no prosecution. Nobody's prosecuting her there. So that's why I say let us initiate extradition initiative so that she can bring her, she'll face the rest of the law.
All right, joining us is a lawyer, Bosun Oshifora. Also in the studio is National President of the Joy Youth Council, Peritubo Welaimi. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good to have
you.
Yeah. Well, both of you gentlemen, you listened to the EFCC boss there, Ibrahim Magu. I wonder if any of you fault what he has said. I mean, he's waited 3 years. Nothing seems to be happening to former Minister of Petroleum, Alison-Madueke. And the EFCC believes now it's time for them to actually take over so we can have closure to this. Bosun, you want to start?
Well, this is a simple case of international law. And maybe we start with a bit of educating ourselves and even the Commission. Under international law, no country is under obligation to send someone to you, whether a citizen of your country, in respect of alleged crimes committed. They are not under obligation. It's a function of treaties. And you find that over time, with the escalation in terrorism and, you know, particularly as it regards money laundering.
Yes.
Yeah, people use all the funds for all kinds of things. That's when nations started coming together like, okay, in order not to allow things like this to fester, let's check moves like this. Now, so that's where you now find nations signing treaties with one another, some bilateral, some multilateral treaties, where you can now exchange people, and there are procedures for it. Now, so when it comes to extradition. Now, so if you allege that somebody has committed crime in her native land and she's in a foreign land, like the case against Diziani, based on the treaties signed between Nigeria and the UK, then they can send her down. But they're not under obligation to do that. In fact, there are conditions for doing it. If the UK government is not convinced, if they feel that it's a political drive, or if they feel that the person is going to face death sentence, they may not. But based on the treaties,
any kind of persecution.
Yes. Then, but where you sign treaties, then you're bound by what you have signed in law. All right. Now, so in this case, now, but coming to the chairman of the commission, I saw this yesterday. I saw this and I'm like, same pattern, same stuff. Same commission doing the same thing over and over. He said
and
it's
expecting
tired,
the same.
They're tired of what the
results.
UK is doing. It was the same UK that, I mean, we knew of a former governor that was convicted, easy and simple, and we saw how the thing. They're always in a hurry to go to court, and there's no rush going to court. If you look at other crimes, they can stay as much as 10 years investigating, working on a case. And by the time you come to court, they submit. But they are in a hurry. Then you get to court. We've seen so many cases, with the exception of Jolene Yame and Darie.
Yes.
Almost all the cases that have been brought to court, particularly high-profile cases, have gone down the drain. You find that, I mean,
Maybe those two cases you just cited has given EFCC some level of confidence.
Well, you don't hurry to court. That's my own.
All right, Veritable. I know you've been following this as well.
Yeah.
Now, the point there is, when we have so much in the media about legal issues, about technical issues, about diplomatic issues, about issues under investigation that Nigerians should not even get to, it's not wrong for them to know, but we've not gotten to the conclusion where Nigerians can know, okay, this has happened. How does this impact on the process of what we are trying to do, getting things right? There's so much out there.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me say this clear before I comment, because of where I'm coming from. I'm from the Niger Delta, and this is very important for me that I say this. Nobody, including Dezani Alison-Madueke, is above the law. Anybody that is alleged to have taken our national wealth should face the law, including Dezani Madueke. But the issue here is, this is a woman that offered sometime about 2017, October 2017, to come back to Nigeria to face our charges, because she felt that she's innocent and that she would want to come back to our country, Nigeria, to face the allegations leveled against her by the EFCC and the government. But this government said, no, stay in the Britain, stay in wherever you are and face your
case.
case.
And today, it's the same government that is saying that this case has been in the UK for 3 years and that they cannot wait and that she should come back. Of course, let me tell you, my colleague, I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
There is no period for a case to last in any court in the world. Exactly. What is important is to get justice, no matter how many years a case or a matter lasts in the court. But in Nigeria, they will rush you to court without doing proper and thorough investigation. And at the end of the day, you don't get any conviction.
Is it safe to say, in the mind of the EFCC and, of course, the chairman, still staying with you, Perturbo, that they're actually envisaging a predictable outcome? Because when the EFCC boss says, look, we've waited 3 years, nothing has been done, there is no process ongoing,
the Nigerian system...
Are they expecting that this is how it should go? Not necessarily it could go either way.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, because you are saying it has to do with justice.
Yes.
But what I'm reading from his statement is, look, we want this woman to be prosecuted because you know what? She's been alleged to have stolen so, and so.
Yeah.
So she must pay the ultimate price, which is, of course, going to
jail.
You mustn't just take somebody to jail. There is a process, there is a procedure. And that is what the UK government is doing. That's exactly what they are doing. The EFCC, the Nigerian judicial system, is not competent. Cannot say that what the UK government is doing
is not
thorough. Is not justiciable or is faulty, that they will do it better in Nigeria. They will do it better in Nigeria. Is it to bring her back to Nigeria and to throw her into one cell in Kuje? Or is it actually to bring her back in Nigeria for her to face her charges? Or is that going to be another persecution instead of prosecution? Or is it another ploy to distract Nigerians from the issues on ground? We are talking about issues of insecurity, issues of development, and you are talking about, like you said, what is our business in bringing somebody to Nigeria to face a trial? That is not an issue. What is important to us as a people, as a country, is at the end of the day, has somebody been actually convicted for what he or she has stolen?
Will justice be done?
Justice
will it be seen to be done?
Justice will be seen to be done.
Okay.
That is what is important to Nigeria. But in Nigeria, that's what is important to us. But here, we just see all kind of things that you want this woman to come back to Nigeria. And you are the same person that said, no, don't come. But let me warn us here. Let me warn us here. We should not forget the fact that Dezani is a citizen, is a British citizen. And the British government has so much importance, has a lot of respect for its citizens, unlike Nigeria. So I am sure, and I hope that the EFCC and the Office of Attorney General
bears that in mind.
Okay. And that they will be able to do what it takes to pull Desani out of the
UK. Okay.
Because the UK government will not just give its own out for you freely. You must do the needful to get her back home.
Okay, Boston, when it comes to extradition of persons across borders, Desani's case is not even the first. There is a Nigerian politician that there has been moves to extradite him to the United States for prosecution, and that has never, even this is from within Nigeria, that has not happened over the years. And as it is right now, how feasible will this be? Even though we wouldn't want to preempt how things will play out, but if we have to look, you were saying no country is under obligation to do that. More so that he does, Peritupo just said, she is a citizen of the United Kingdom.
You know, I told you earlier, before I even go to that, I think one of the things we should ask the chairman of the commission is, do you want speed that leads to nowhere, or you want justice? The wheel of justice may grind slow, but in the end, you will find what is appropriate. Now, so then coming back to our being a UK citizen, I explained earlier that based on treaties, you're bound by whatever you have signed. It's a fundamental principle of law. But at the same time, because she is of dual citizenship, then they will be careful in doing that. Then also, what exactly do we want? Like he said, do you just want to sensationalize everything, put it in the media, make it look like, oh, we've caught a big fish, or do you want, because we've had cases where they've tried people abroad and they've even repatriated monies to Nigeria. Here, they'll try somebody, they'll tell you they recovered billions and billions, and we don't see the billions.
It looks
we
like
don't
they
know
actually
where the money
go away with their loot.
But these people are thorough.
Yes.
And they are accountable. So we can always trust them. So let them leave the Nigerian aspect of it. They should allow it to go. They let the trial continue in the UK. Definitely the UK government is not going to lie to you. I mean, all this countries have been the ones sending funds, but we know of the Abacha loot, we know of a few other ones like that have been repatriated to us. So allow them to do the thing. Then it's the same justice that's in UK that you find in Nigeria. So why the hurry?
All right.
At what speed are you looking?
But so I'll remain with you. Alison-Madueke has responded. She actually responded sometime last year when, you know, in the heat of all of this, that look, the problem is that the EFCC and those who are, you know, clamoring for her to come back don't seem to even understand the workings of government. That number one, the president uses his own discretion to draw from a security budget maintained by NNPC, which is where some of the alleged funds are said to have been withdrawn. That she's only an appointee of the president, and she does based on what the president, you know, orders or instructs her to do. And it is usually written. In fact, always written. A written request, and then the discretion is that of the president and not hers. She only carries out, you know, what the orders. Yeah, the orders. So is it, if all of this, all these allegations, you know, are found to be true in the court of law, it shouldn't be only Desani that should be answering questions.
Well, yes. Well, this is not the first time we're hearing things like this. I mean, if you look at Dasuki's case, it's almost similar. Dasuki says, I'm just an employee
carrying out
orders. Same for, if you think way back, Sergeant Rogers. He was like, I was giving instruction. So go for the top. But, you know, some of these things have political undertone. That's why, like he said, that are you just looking for a big fish that will make headlines for you? Then in another 1 year, it's either you put her in prison and nothing will come out of it. And for somebody who offered by herself, let me come and face this thing, she too has something up her sleeves. She knows that by the time we put this thing on the ground, you guys will probably run home. You know, you guys make, at the end of the day, because of the patterns we've seen with them, I mean, no disrespect to the legal team.
Yes.
I mean, they're doing a wonderful job. We see them in other things, but particularly when it comes to all these big stories, you find it that it just goes down the drain, just another one. In fact, the average person on the street, if you tell them, because most times before I come for interviews like this, I just sample amongst friends. They just be like, please, they come again. That's the reaction, because that's what we've seen over time. And for somebody who is particular about speed and not justice, then it shows you that there's more to what he wants than conviction.
All right, now, Peritubo, back at home, for instance, you come from the Niger Delta, and Niger Deltans are people who are very enlightened when it comes to knowing what they want. Now, how do people back home feel when they hear these things, especially from where Desiani comes from? Is there this feeling of the fact that she's our daughter? Because sometimes in Nigeria, when someone is being persecuted, you hear the kinsmen saying, no, he's our son, he's our daughter, she's our daughter.
They're only being persecuted.
And so they're being persecuted. There's political. What are people saying back home?
Yeah, like I said initially, nobody is above the law. But the feeling of the people, not only the Niger Delta people, the feeling of the people is that this is another political strategy. They just want this woman to come back to Nigeria to persecute her. And the moment a people feel that way, it means that they don't have confidence and trust in the system. They want anybody, including Desiani, to be prosecuted, face the law, wherever she is in the world. The Nigerians have been convicted in the UK, high-profile cases. Like he said, the monies that were stolen and taken outside the shores of Nigeria have been brought back to Nigeria. And we are in a country where people have been tried. If 10 persons have been tried, we haven't gotten up to 5 convictions. It's only trial. And at the end of the day, it ends with trial. There are no very many convictions. But in other clients, no matter how long it takes, there must be conviction. And I don't know why the EFCC boss is in a hurry for him to come out in a national television to say that they cannot wait again. What has he been waiting for?
Well, what he's saying, in all fairness is,
so the Niger Delta people are very skeptical,
Yes.
They are not sure of what is going to happen to their daughter. If it's justice, if it's prosecution, no problem. But if it's persecution, we will shout at it.
Bosun, what the EFCC boss is saying is, look, in 3 years, there is no matter before any court of law in the UK. There is no process at all. That seems to be the issue he has.
Does he practice in the UK?
Well, he doesn't have to practice in the UK to know whether there's a process on right now or not. But then again,
with due respect, it's not, I don't think it's correct for him to say that for 3 years there's no established case.
Then for all you care, the process of extradition is not an overnight thing. It's a process. It's an intergovernmental thing. Now, so at the end of the day, it may take a while.
Not a process of extradition. The process of a case before the court.
What I'm saying is that
there is no case before any court in the UK to actually prosecute this case.
No matter how dissatisfied he is,
yes,
there's a process. One of the problems with us here in this part of the world is that we don't follow process.
So is it safe to say that maybe the UK authorities are still investigating?
It's not unlikely.
And they don't have to sensationalize.
It's not unlikely.
The investigations, which is what Nigerians have been concerned about. Yeah. But the FBI in the US has actually, come out with a damning report saying, look, we have, carried out our investigations, and based on verified complaint that Desiani acquired assets with kickbacks from an international, conspiracy to obtain lucrative business opportunities in the Nigerian oil and gas between 2010 and 2015 while she was petroleum minister.
The allegations here are different. There is the corporate governance issue, which the FBI have raised. Yeah. That's a different ballgame. There's the one that the allegation from EFCC is that she's stolen funds that belongs to the state. It's another thing. These are different charges.
So there are so many, it's almost dizzying.
And at the end of the day, you find out that from one jurisdiction to another, the processes and the systems, they grind differently. So that's why we're saying that, are you particular about speed, or justice, even if they've not brought the case to court. I mean, this is in public, so we could talk about it. The Boris case, you almost didn't hear about anything until it was a case of him owning up, like, you know what, with this evidence, let's just take it easy. So I think we need to get to that level in Nigeria, and not just, it just shows you what it is with prosecution in Nigeria. It's all about speed. It's all about let's rush to court. You get to court, then you find out that EFCC will come 110 charges. Then they start amending and amending and amending. And like my father used to tell me, he would say that if you write and you are erasing every minute, then you don't know what you're doing. Same for amendment. Now, I'm not saying that amendment doesn't show you know, but if you keep amending and amending charges, then it's better you sit down, understand the game, plan your work properly, then come to court. To the extent that the person will just give up, like we see in most places.
Or
but
maybe
here,
the EFCC wants to add this case, the Desani case, to the list of 700 and something.
not unlikely. Not unlikely. Not unlikely. It's a big fish. It's a big story for them.
It might be an achievement.
Yeah, but the issue there is, EFCC on the papers this morning, we were reading, one of the headlines says that it's sad. Okay, no. We have 703 convictions. That's acting EFCC chairman is saying that out of these 703 cases, what Nigerians might refer to high-profile cases might not be up to 5% of that 703 cases, as the case may be. It is still the same process we're talking about. The same kind of charges of corruption, of fraud, or maybe money laundering, as the case may be. But what makes the difference? It's still the same judicial process. What makes the difference between high-profile cases and what we might also see as maybe average profile or low profile? It might be a wrong way to prove it, but I'm just trying to...
It's unfortunate that in Nigeria, the same law applied differently to different people.
All right.
The same law is... The law is a respecter of nobody.
Do we hold responsible?
Yeah, it holds you responsible, whether you are high profile, whether you are middle profile, whether you are low profile. But that is not the situation in Nigeria. How many former governors are in that list? How many senators are in that list? How many National Assembly members, how many ministers are in that list? If you look at it, that list, about over 50% to 70% of them are ordinary people.
Yahoo boys.
Yahoo boys, people who may have taken just some small million. The people that actually stole will steal and pay their way in. And Nigerians, as a people, we want to see high-profile convictions and not media conviction. But that is what we are lacking in Nigeria. That is why, if you are a former governor, if you are a high-profile person, and you are out of office and EFCC try to come after you, and you stay in Nigeria and you face them, you come out free.
But in all fairness, aren't you being contradictory? Aren't you contradicting yourself when you say that EFCC really just cares about speed? In the Joshua Daria case and the other one, it took quite a while about Jolly Nyame.
How many out of two?
No, in fact, if anybody is contradicting themselves, it's the EFCC. You know why? The Daria case took about 10 years. Almost about the same time for Jolly Nyame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're telling us that it's almost 3 years. I think what he's trying to do is that they want to count it as part of the achievement of this administration. They're rallying, they're winding up. So at the end of the day, they want to show that, okay, we caught this big, this big, this big, those small fries are here, but, we have about 10 big fishes. But
who's to say it will not end in an administrative bail and then, and all of that? There's a former governor who just left, and we hear that he actually took care of a lot of people in EFCC.
When he said
he was
700
more or less Robin Hood.
When he said 703 cases, I was going to say, is it cases or conviction?
That's the point.
Conviction.
That's what he
703 convictions.
But do you think, really looking at the EFCC as a whole, from the time that it was set, has the EFCC gone beyond its mandate? When you say, look, all the people they've really been having closure with, are small fries, more or less.
Take nothing away from them. They're trying their best.
Okay.
In fact, if you compare, I've been here several times and I've advocated for them. If you compare what they have, resources at their disposal.
Which they've been shouting about that they don't have
It's nowhere near that, counterparts in other crimes. But at the same time, what we're saying is that whatever little you have, all right, make the best out of it, not all this speedy thing. Even the president said it, that they called him Baba Go Slow. Those who are speedy, where did
Well,
they
yeah,
get
they-
So him too should follow the president. Let's go slow, let's grind slowly and achieve justice.
After all,
rather
slow
than
and steady wins
the
Wins
race.
the race.
So that's
Okay.
it.
We have to leave it here now. Bosun Oshofor, thank you so much for coming on the
My
program,
pleasure.
lawyer, and the national president of Ijo Youth Council, Perturbo Owelami. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
very much.
All right.
All right.